People act. People act. People act.
Hello, welcome to today's episode of Tay Tarik Talks. As you can see, I am sitting in an okay chair, and that is because we're going to talk about my childhood, specifically growing up in Singapore. So how this whole thing came to be was because I was watching an episode of James Corden and Justin Bieber playing Spill Your Guts or Fill Your Guts, and they had bird saliva as one of the gross things that they could have. And I was like, bird's nest is delicious. And so that's the first thing we're going to talk about today. So when I was growing up, it didn't seem like that big of a deal because my parents always introduced it to us as bird's nest soup, and it was like cute, you know. So bird's nest is kind of like a delicacy here in Singapore, and it's like really expensive, so we only got to have it like as a treat, and me and my siblings would fight over a bowl of bird's nest soup. And I just love bird's nest soup. I think it's delicious, and it never occurred to me that it was bird's saliva. And honestly, it doesn't freak me out. I don't know why. I think just because I have so many good memories of it, like the Chinese New Year celebrations and just getting to spend time with my siblings fighting over soup, bird saliva soup. And so I started thinking about all the other things that I grew up with, and I just wanted to talk about it so I can reminisce. So the first few things that we're going to talk about is like the foods and snacks that we grew up with. So the first one being the bird's nest soup, and then the second one being pandan waffles. And I remember my first memory of having a pandan waffle to be at a wet market with my mom, and she would go and pick all the raw fish and raw chicken and all the other stuff. And because me and my brother were kids and she didn't want us running around, she just bought us pandan waffles so that our hands would be full and we wouldn't go and touch all the raw food. So ace parenting. The next thing that I remember having as a kid is ice lollies. Okay, there's like a whole debate about how you're supposed to eat it, okay? You can either like break it in half, like right down the middle, or you're supposed to like cut off the top. When I was a kid, I would always just snip off the top and just like wait for it to melt and then like drink it. But like when I grew up, like when I grew older, I realized that I was lazy to like wash the scissors. So I would just snap it right down the middle. Another thing that I would have as a kid is these biscuits, and I refuse, okay, and I know everyone calls them ice gems, but I refuse to call them ice gems because when I was a kid, I just knew them as the biscuit. Like whenever my mom would ask me if I wanted biscuits, I would know exactly what she was talking about, and it would be the ice gems. And here's the thing, as a kid, you never eat the biscuits. You only just bite off the icing and give the biscuits to your mom. Another thing that I always used to eat was these things called Tam-Tams. And it came in this like blue packet with a crab on it, and it was like these orange pillow cracker things. To be honest, I did not think that they were that good, but bless you. Anyway, another thing that I grew up with was this thing called Chocky, and it's like this like tube of chocolate. It's not at all like Nutella. It's like, I don't know how to explain it, but it's just like long tube of chocolate and you can just like eat it. There was this other thing, I'm not sure, it was like this biscuit that came in a long packet, but like I have no idea what it's called, but it was like salty and like it had like animal prints on it. And one of the big Singaporean childhood things that I experienced was the ice cream uncle. In Singapore, like sometimes we have these older guys. That sounds wrong, but it's not. It's sweet and it's nice. But like we had these like uncles who would like push around ice cream cart things, and they would sell ice cream in a block. So they would pull out this huge block of ice cream and they would chop it up, and then they would like unwrap it, and then they would give it to you either in a cup with two like waffle things, or they would put it in this rainbow bread thing, and that ice cream only cost like $1. And I just remember like going to rollerblade in East Coast Park, I believe, and at the car park there would be the ice cream uncle, and he would just be chilling there with his like little bell letting everyone know that the ice cream was here, and then we'd be all like sweaty and gross from rollerblading, and then we'd just have ice cream. That was peak childhood treats. So another thing that I think like a lot of Singaporeans can relate to are like things that we went through in primary school. Okay, so I know for the boys and some girls, like the girls that I knew didn't do it, but I know some girls did it, but they would go to the field and play soccer, but it had to be with a plastic bottle. Like I remember like going to the canteen and then like some of the guys, they would take like 100+ bottles and like pink dolphin bottles and they just like bring it to the field and kick it around. And that was recess. While the boys were off playing soccer with plastic bottles, the girls would play like games in like the parade square, I believe they're called. I remember just calling mine the blue square because it was blue. I don't know. We would play freeze and melt, we would play catch and stuff like that. And here's the thing, okay, so I know it's kind of like a very like universal thing, but in Singapore, the way that we chose our teams was intense, okay? We would play this game called Oya Beya. I don't know what everyone else calls it. Maybe they call it black and white. But basically everyone would like gather in the circle and then they stick their hands out and they go Oya Beya Sombalea Roti Prata Char Kway Teow. And whatever hand it lands on, say, so if I landed on my backhand, then everyone else who landed on the backhand would be in my team, and then the opposite for the people who faced out. And that's how we picked our teams. There was no you get picked last, there was no inequality, there was justice in primary school. Another thing that I remember doing in primary school was we had a pond at the back of the school building, and there would be like tadpoles and fishes in the pond. And I remember just bringing an empty container and going to the pond and trying to scoop up the tadpoles. And I was unsuccessful most of the time, but when I got a tadpole, I was proud. But I never got to bring it home because I knew that if I brought it home, my mom would kill me. So I just let the little guy go. But tadpole fishing in primary school was not allowed, so badass kid. Breaking all the rules. Another game that we would play in primary school a lot was Lao Ying Zua Xiao Ji. The direct translation would be an eagle chasing a chicken. So basically how it goes is one person would be the eagle and then the other one would be the mother hen, and like everyone else would be behind, and then the eagle would chase the baby chicks around and try and like grab them, and once they get like tagged, they would have to go behind the eagle, and then once all the baby chicks were gone, then the mother hen would lose, and that's the game. So that was what recess was like during primary school. But of course, we also had to have fun in our classrooms. Another big thing that I grew up with was making flag eraser spinner thingies. Okay, it had to be like specifically flag erasers. Like it was like a rectangular eraser with white on the top and then red at the bottom, and then like a flag of a different country, and flip it over and like staple bullets to the bottom of it, and then we'd make our own. And then when you like put it on the table and you like give it a spin, and it would like spin. And that was what we did for fun. Another thing that we did in class was, this is gonna sound really weird, I don't know if you guys did it, and if no one else did it, then it might just be a testament to how weird I was as a child, but I used to collect like like eraser dust and like try and form like the longest string possible that I could with it. And I don't know why I did it. It was just like whoever could like make the longest like eraser string was like cool. I don't know. So I remember just like when my teacher was like talking in class, I would just like spend my time erasing. But like the thing is, you couldn't erase like paper because like you had to be so vigorous so that the string would be like thick enough so that you could like roll it in with the other pieces of eraser dust. So like instead of like erasing it on paper, you would erase it on the desk itself. I hope that other people also did this and it wasn't just me in my school. It sounds crazy, but that's what we did. A lot of the times, my school would take me on field trips, and while like lining up and waiting for like the bus or waiting to get back home, we would like stand in the line, right? And what we do is we play hand games. And I remember playing this Chinese hand game. So basically how it goes is, I'm so sorry if I butcher this, I haven't done this in a while. So it would go 1 2 3我们上我们下我们后前脚我们4 5 6我们7 8 9我们好朋友我们这里轮脚 box. And then you would play either scissors, paper, or stone. If you lost, there were like different variations. You either get like slapped or like the loser would have to like put their hand out, and then the winner would try and slap them, and then they'd pull away. And you had like 3 chances for the winner to like hit the loser's hand, and if they didn't, then nothing would happen. That was good, violent childhood games. Speaking of violent, another thing that we would play would be this game called Heart Attack. And you know, us Singaporean kids just could never be basic with our just scissors, paper, stone. We had to have like an element of violence to it. How the game goes is that you have like 2 hands, so you have like 2 lives, and you like start from here because obviously it's called Heart Attack. And so you go heart, deck, and then you play scissors, paper, stone. So it's the same rules as scissors, paper, stone, but if you lost, you'd have to put your hand in the middle, and then you could use your other hand. And then you still have another life, and so you could keep playing until both your hands were down. The winner was decided when the person who had won had both their hands free. So that with the pile of hands of everyone else's hand, and then the winner would like go heart, deck, and then they would try and like smack the hands of the people in the pile, and everyone get to like pull away. And so the person who got hit in the next round, they would have to put like 1 hand down, so they would like lose a life. And that was like an intense game, and friendships were broken from that game. Anyway, okay, so I remember like if you were cool in like primary school, you would roll up your skirt. Like always roll up your skirts, 2-fold. Your skirt would be like way over your knee because apparently that was cool. Don't ask me, I did it because I tried to be cool. Because it was like, you know, I don't care about the rules, uniforms can't contain me, I am like 7, I make my own rules, I dress however I want. That was what it said. It's not about the action, it's about the morals, it's about the principle. So yes, I was a badass child. Another thing that we would be forced to do in primary school would be to play the recorder. We would play like Hot Cross Buns and like Mary Had a Little Lamb, and be like and like nobody wanted to do it. Not that I remember, at least. I remember thinking, this is stupid. And I remember like everyone had like the basic like white recorder, but like if you were like super enthusiastic about the class, you'd have like a pink transparent recorder, like a green recorder, and you could buy it at like the bookshop, and they were like 20 cents more than the white one. Did anybody grow up to actually play the recorder in secondary school? Because if you did, please let me know, and I apologize for everything that I just said, you know. Go Singapore's education system for making us take the recorder, because it changed someone's life, I guess. Everyone knows in Singapore, education is key. So I remember like every single week we would have spelling and dictation, and then we would have that in whatever mother tongue that we would choose to take. So mine would be Chinese, and that would be Tingxie and Moxie. Another thing in the examinations would be oral examinations, and we'd have to do it in both Chinese and English. So it's like right outside the classroom. You'd have the examiner and the candidate, and then you'd have someone before you, and that person would get the picture on their seat as well. And then you'd have like a waiting chair. They would just make you sit there, fill up the anxiety tank, watching these other 2 of your friends misread every single thing and not have any idea what to say, and like fumble over their words. And it was just cruel, honestly. But I remember just sitting in the waiting chair, and I just like peek over and like try and like figure out what the picture was so that I could like mentally prepare it in my head. Oral examinations were like one of the worst things ever, because you'd have like so much anxiety to like talk in front of someone. It's like, what if you messed up, you know? That person's face would immediately be like,
you stupid.
And you just like freak out, and I just couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it, which is ironic because now I'm talking to a camera. So how I would study for the oral examinations, especially the ones in Chinese, would be that I would remember some like 好词好句. One of the phrases would be like 人山人海, and it means like, there's a crowd of people. And even if that picture that they gave me had nobody in it, I would somehow fake my way into just squeezing that phrase in just so I can get that extra point. Speaking of how cheats, another thing that we did was we had compositions to write, and the ones in Chinese, I remember specifically, had like 4 pictures. And I remember starting all of my compositions with 一个风和日丽的星期一. And then I would always name my character Xiao Ming or Xiao Hua if he was a guy, or if she was a girl, I would call her like Xiao Mei or Xiao Hua, and it would just always be that. Love my primary school. Great times. So the last thing that I want to talk about today would be media in Singapore as a kid. I remember my childhood being very much filled with Kid Central, which I think they now call it Octo. And another channel that I would always watch would be Channel 8, and it's called Ba Ping Dao. My family calls it the mama shows, and they would only air from like 9 to 10. And I remember like my favorite mama show was like this series called Little Nonya, and they had 2 seasons. That was like a big part of my childhood. And the thing was, like, my bedtime in primary school was like 8, so like getting to stay up till like 10 was like, oh my gosh, like I stayed up so late. Did you see that mama show last night? Did you see that episode of Little Nonya last night? No, you didn't, because you had to go to sleep. But what did I do? I stayed up till 10. Another channel that we would always watch would be Channel 5. That was like the big boy channel, and they would show like the news on that channel. But I remember some of like the distinct shows that they would show on that channel would be Hua Chu Kang, the news, which is like satirical commentary on Singapore. They would make fun of like actual Singaporean news and stuff like that. There would also be this show called Crime Watch, and it was basically just like Singapore's crime prevention thing, where they would show a crime that was being done and then how it was investigated and how it was dealt with. And I'm pretty sure that it was made so that they would basically just tell us not to commit crimes. And as like a kid, I didn't grasp that those things that were happening on TV were like happening in real life, so I just thought that they were drama. But the world's a terrible place. That's about it for today's Tay Tarik Talk Singaporean Childhood Edition. But before I go, I just want to see if everyone else knew this jingle. So I'm just gonna sing the jingle, and if you guys know it, complete it. And if you don't, then it would go 658-101. That's all. So that was my life growing up in Singapore. Thank you for watching and reminiscing with me. If your childhood looked anything like mine, I hope you guys all are doing well. Bye!
It's not for me to say.